Hello, everyone. Welcome to the session of Animal Kingdom Theory Part 3. So, let us start today's session. This is the third session for this particular chapter, right? So, let us see what we are going to study today. Disclaimer: the images, text, and other material used in our presentations are for educational purposes only. We respect the intellectual property rights of the original creators and owners. If you are the owner and have any concerns or issues, please contact us at sathi@iitk.ac.in and we shall remove the content immediately. Please note that the parts of the content may have been generated using the generative AI, which is totally experimental. So, in today's session, what are the learning objectives, right? So, to identify the key characteristic of the Escalmenthes. So, what are the phylum we are going to study about today? That is the Escalmenthes, Annelida, and Arthropoda. These are the three very, very important phylum that we are going to study today. Escalmenthes, why they are so important? We see the pseudocoelom, only one phylum that is having the organism that have the pseudocoelom, false body cavity, bilaterally symmetry. So this is the characteristic of the Escalmenthes that we are going to study about in the detail. Annelida, segmentation. Annelida is very, very important phylum because of its segmentation. We will see what type of segmentation they possess. True coelom, body cavity. Body cavity, it is of true coelom type. And here you can see the Escalmenthes, they are having the pseudocoelom, right? So this is the key characteristic of the Annelida. Next, very important phylum, Arthropoda. Jointed appendages. This is one of the key characteristic of this phylum. And the phylum got its name also because of this particular jointed appendages. We will see in detail about how they got this particular name, Arthropoda, this phylum. Exoskeleton, the organism that bears the exoskeleton. They do not have any endoskeleton, right? But they do have exoskeleton, right? To compare their body organization, locomotion method, and the reproductive strategies, we will focus our discussion on the body organization. What type of body organization the organism of Escalmenthes have? What type of body organization of the organism of Annelida and the Arthropoda have? We will also emphasize our discussion on the locomotion method. What type of locomotion they are having? Reproductive strategies. We will focus on this also. Reproductive strategy. And we will also able to understand their ecological role and the economic importance, because every organism is important, right? Because they are the part of our ecosystem, right? So let us start today's session. Now, for the part of index, now we are discussing 4.2 section of our NCERT book, right? That is the classification of animals. You must be wondering why this number. This number is the section of your NCERT book, right? The classification of animal 4.2 section. And the phylum Escalmenthes, this is the subsection 4.2.5. Phylum Annelida 4.2.6. Phylum Arthropoda 4.2.7. And at the end, we will summarize today's lecture. Okay? So let us start today's session. So first of all, we will deal with the phylum Escalmenthes. So Escalmenthes, they are also called as the roundworms. They are also called as the roundworms. And I hope you all know why they are so. Because if you cut the roundworm, okay, or you can say, like, you take an example of this ascaris. Suppose I'm taking then example ascaris, and if I cut the cross section of the ascaris, then we could able to see the body surface. Okay, the body surface, the cross section, they appear circular. The cross section appear circular. Okay, circular. So that is why they got their common name roundworm. Roundworm. Before this, we discussed about the flatworms. Because their body is very flat, their body can be divided two surfaces. We can see the two surfaces, the the upper surface and the lower surface, means the dorsal surface and the ventral surface. That is why the organism is called as the flatworm, right? But here, when you cut the cross section, they will appear circular in cross section, circular surface, and that is why they are called as roundworms. They may be free living, aquatic and terrestrial, or parasitic in plants and animals. So this is the habitat. Free living, they are found free living in the environment. They could be present in the, like, on the land, inside the soil. Okay. So they are open in environment, free living. Some organisms are aquatic also. Aquatic means they are found in the aquatic environment. Some are on the terrestrial surface, on the land surface. That is the terrestrial surface. And some are found as a parasite in the plants and animals, right? Very best example is the ascaris, which causes disease in the young children. Okay, that is called ascariasis. So how this disease occur in small children? Actually, the small children, they eat away the soil when they are playing in the soil. When the crawling baby is there, sometimes they eat the soil, and along with the soil, the eggs of this ascaris are there. Not only this, sometimes they are present in the your raw vegetables, the radish, the carrot, with that we consume in our food. So the eggs of these worms are attached to their surface, and when you consume that raw vegetables, if they are not washed thoroughly or properly, then they could get enter inside our body. Yes, underground vegetables, very good, right? So what happened? Those eggs get inside our body, they hatch there, and the new ones is now in our body. It get established there. They goes to the intestine, and there they can reproduce even, right? So this is how they are present as a parasitic in the case of plants and animals. They are not only present in as a parasite in animals, they are also present in the plants. We have seen some of the plants like Sudarshan plant, that is the herb plant, in which they are having the parallel veins, and in the veins you can see that they are having this worm like nematodes, right? So they belong to this escalment. Moving forward, so here you can see one of the example of escalmenthes, that is a roundworm, male and female. You could recognize just by the looking the morphology of the roundworm. You can, next time you can say that this is the male and this is the female. Why? Because you can see the female is quite longer than the male one, and you can see that the female is having a quite a broader this width than the male, and the male is having at the end, you can see they are having the anal serae. That particular structure helps in the process of reproduction. Okay, so this distinctive feature you could see in the case of roundworms. This actual the features, this is called as sexual dimorphism. This phenomena is called as that sexual dimorphism, because you can, just by looking at the organism, you can judge the sexes of the organism, that this is the male one and this is the female one, right? Roundworms have the organ system level of body organization. Now, this is one of the advanced feature. We have started from the cellular level of grade of organization. Then came the tissue level grade of organization. Then came organ level grade of organization. The very last phylum, that is the Platyhelminthes, they are having organ level of organization. But here, what you see, they are having organ system level of organization. Very, very important. Organ system means they are having digestive system, they are having nervous system, muscular system. In this way, they are having different system, right? Now, they are bilaterally symmetrical. Bilaterally symmetrical means when you cut the organism passing through its central axis, a plane of axis, it divides the organism into two equal halves. Yes, two halves. And those two halves are mirror image like, mirror image, right? So left half is just equal to the right half, right? So that is called as bilaterally symmetrical. This is showing the symmetry of the organism. And this bilaterally symmetrical is the advanced feature, right? Next comes to the triploblastic. Triploblastic means the embryo after the fertilization, zygote is there. Zygote divide and form a mass of cells. Now this mass of cells arrange themselves in the layers. They arrange themselves in the layers. So that is called as ectoderm. The outermost is the ectoderm, the innermost is the endoderm, and in between the ectoderm and endoderm is the mesoderm layer, right? So that represent the triploblastic. Hmm? Now, the third feature here, the third feature, pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate, falls. The pseudo means fall, and coelomate means body cavity. Body cavity. Pseudocoelomate. This is the only phylum in which we see pseudocoelomate. So I'm again, just to remember, we are having the three phylum. Three worm phylum: Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, and Annelida. These are the three worm phylum. The Platyhelminthes, flatworm; Aschelminthes, roundworm; and Annelida, segmented worm. The organism that are having the segmented, and that is why they are called as segmented worm. The three different worm phylum. Now the first one, Platyhelminthes, it is a lower grade of organization they are having. And if we talk about the coelom, then they are not having any coelom. So they are having acoelomate. Acoelomate. The next one, pseudocoelomate. Pseudocoelomate, the Aschelminthes, means false coelom. So from here only you can see that the coelom type of things is appearing, but that is not of true type, it is of false type. The next phylum, Annelida, segmented worm, they are having the true coelom. So in this way you can remember this, then, because it is very confusing which of the phylum, when you will read all the phylum, and if I ask that which phylum is having the pseudocoelom, then you will get confused. So just to remember the Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, and Annelida. Three phylums are there that represent the worm, and the very first one, they are having acoelomate animals. The mid one, that is the Aschelminthes, pseudocoelomate, and the last one, Annelida, they are the segmented worm, and they are having the true coelom, right? To remember this. Now, alimentary canal is complete. What does this mean? They are having two openings. two opening. One opening is the mouth and the another opening is the anus. But what about the previous one, platyhelminthes? Sorry, platyhelminthes are having only one opening, right? And that is why their alimentary canal, or you can say the digestive system, is incomplete type. Very well developed muscular pharynx. Now this phylum is having, this is one of the very like distinctive feature, muscular pharynx. You must remember, muscular pharynx is well developed in the case of escalmenthes, right? Because it is an adaptation that they have to chew the food, right? Function of muscular pharynx is to, it helps in like chewing of the food material, right? The type of food material that they are consuming, the type of food material that the escalmenthes are consuming. Okay, so they are having the muscular pharynx that helps in chewing of the food. Coming to the next, this, an excretory tube removes the body waste from the body cavity through the excretory pore. Now, inside their body, inside the escalmenthes body, they are having the excretory tube that emerge out of the body in the form of excretory pore like opening is there, and through that all the waste from the body cavity comes out of this excretory pore into the outer environment, right? So this is how the excretory substance released out or come out from the inside of the body. Sexes are separate, dioecious. Just now we have seen the figure, the male and the female roundworm, right? Sexes are separate, dioecious, and the males and females are distinct. You can just, by looking the external morphology, you can tell that this is the male one and this is the female, male and female individual, right? So they are dioecious, very important. Often females are longer than the males, right? Females are longer than the males. Fertilization is internal. So reproduction is there. There is a proper copulation process. Copulation process means the male reproductive organ is inserted inside the female reproductive organ. That is the opening. And there they release out the sperm. So the fertilization is taking place inside the female body. And that is why it is written here, the fertilization is internal. The zygote formation is there, and that is internal, right? So the development may be direct. In some of the individual of the escalmenthes, there is no formation of the larval stages. That is direct. The young one resemble the adult. Wherever you see the young one resemble the adult, it means that it is not having any larval stage. But the young one that do not seem like the adulthood. Just I'm taking an example that you see a frog. You have seen frog. And what about the tadpole? The tadpole looks like fishes. They are having the tail. They are just present in the water. They do not come out of the water because they are having the respiratory organ as gills only. But what about the frog? It is having well developed lungs. There is no tail. So the larval stage or the young one stage of the frog is totally different from the adult one, right? So this larval stage, the tadpole is showing the larval stage, right? This is one of the example. I just tried to explain you what is the larval stages here. But here in the case of escalmenthes, right? The development in some of the organism, it is direct, right? The young one seems just like the adult. So no, there is no larval stages. But in some cases, we see that there is an indirect development. It means there is a formation of larval stage, right? So wherever you see it is written that development is direct or development is indirect, simply it should come in your mind that if it is a direct development, then the young ones totally resemble like the adult. And if it is written indirect, then there must be some larval stage formation, right? Yes, metamorphosis is there that transforms the larval stage to the adulthood, right? That is called metamorphosis. Very good. Examples. Now we will talk about the examples. I'm again saying and I'm repeating it every end of the phylum that examples are very important. You must remember its scientific name as well as its common name. The very first example, Ascaris, that is also known as roundworm. So roundworm is the common name, right? Now this Ascaris causes a disease that is called as ascariasis. Wuchereria, filaria worm. Okay, this also causes disease, right? Elephant foot. The legs. These worms are present in the muscles of the leg, and that the leg becomes like elephant foot. Hmm? It is very much swollen. The worms are present in the muscles, right? Okay. The next example is the ankylostoma. It is called hookworm because it is having a hook-like structure. So they, with the help of hook-like structure, they get attached to the tissue in which if they are present inside our intestine. Earthworm belongs to the next phylum that we are going to study about in just a second, right? So just have a wait, patience, right? So ankylostoma, hookworm, common name. Hookworm is the common name of ankylostoma. And here, example of the Escalmenthes roundworm, male and female that we have seen. Okay. So Annelida, the earthworm belong to phylum Annelida that we are going to study about. And you must remember earthworm, Ferritima posthuma. This is the scientific name of the earthworm. Okay. So it is not going to help you if it is written there Ferritima. So you must remember both the names Ferritima, posthuma. Okay. That is called as earthworm, belongs to the phylum Annelida. Okay. So let us study about this Annelida. They may be aquatic. So there are many individuals in this phylum. Okay. There are many individuals in this phylum and some individuals may be aquatic. Means they are found in the water-like environment. Now this water that could be marine or fresh water. Some of the organisms are found in the marine environment, whereas some of the organisms found in the freshwater environment. We have already discussed about what is mean by the marine and the freshwater. I'm again telling you that the salt when dissolved in water, that is the marine environment, marine water. And when the salt is not dissolved in water, that is the freshwater. The pond and lake are the examples of and the river also. That is the examples of the freshwater ecosystem, and the marine, sea and ocean water are the example of the marine. Okay. Now they could be terrestrial also. Not all Annelida are aquatic. Some are terrestrial also. That is, they are found on the land. They could be free living. Free living means they are not present inside any body. Then they are called as free living. But some are parasitic. Some are parasitic. We will see which is the parasitic one, right? So they exhibit the organ system level of body organization and the bilateral symmetry. This is the very important feature. Organ system level of body organization. We have discussed it number of times. So here also they are having a very distinct digestive system, nervous system, reproductive system, excretory system, right? So many type of system they are having. So they are having organ system level of body organization. It means that this is quite an advanced feature. Bilateral symmetry, if you divide the organism passing through its central axis and it is having just one plane of axis through which the organism can be divided into two equal halves, right half and left half. and they are mirror image to each other. So that is called as bilateral symmetry that we see in the case of Annelida. They are triploblastic. Again, triploblastic. This is advanced feature, right? Triploblastic. Metamerically segmented and coelom element. Now, this you must study about. What is the meaning of metamerically segmented? First of all, they are segmented worm. First of all, they are segmented worm. That we see the segments in it. We see segments in it. And the segment is of very special type. What is the speciality here? See, when you see earthworm, you can see the segment. The body is divided into small segments. And that's the size of the segments is almost same. Okay. And but when you cut the organism and from inside you see the segmentation demarcation could be seen from inside also, from outside also, and from inside also. You can see the lining of the segmentation, right? And one more important thing, there is a repetition of certain organ in the segment. What does mean? Suppose there are 18 segments. For example, 18 segment. Some of the organs are repeated in every segment, like nephridia, septal nephridia, and they are having CT. CT, that is the locomotory organ. And parapodia, very good, parapodia, that we see in the case of Nares, not in the earthworm, but Nares. So that we will see the diagram and then you will be able to understand that parapodia is repeated in every segment, right? So this CT and parapodia are the locomotory organ. Very good. CT is present in the case of earthworm, whereas the parapodia in the case of aquatic example, that is the Nares, right? So this is the two things that you must remember. Now, we were discussing about the metamerically segmented. I hope this is clear for you. The segmentation demarcation that you could see from the outer side as well as from inside. And there is a repetition of certain organ in each segment. It will be more clear in the coming segment of the slide. Their body surface is distinctly marked out into segments. See here, or the metamers. What is the meaning of metamers? That is the segment. So either you write metamer or the segment, that is the same thing. And that is why they are called as metamerically segmented. Metamerically segmented, that is segmentation demarcation is present from outer side as well as from inside. And this segment is like a ring-like structure. We wear ring in our fingers, right? So number of rings, if are attached, then you can see that it appear like a segment, right? And each ring-like structure is called as annulus. Okay, annulus. Annelida. What is the meaning of annelida? Annelida means this is coming from the Latin word annulus. And the meaning of annulus is the little ring. So every segment of annelida representing the ring-like structure. Now we will see one of the figure. So here you can see. This is the Nares example. Nares. And what is repeated in every segment? You can see here. The repetition of parapodia. So what is this? Parapodia. This is the parapodia. That is the locomotory organ. That is the locomotory organ. Parapodia. This is the locomotory organ. Right? So every segment you can see external surface, they are having this parapodia, both the side, left and right. So this is the example of Nares, and it is an aquatic organism. Remember this aquatic example. It is found in the water, Nares. And the second one, Hirudinaria. That is the commonly called as leech. This is commonly called as leech. Now they are also having, you can see the number of ring-like structure. The number of ring-like structure. That is annulus. annulus. And now you remember why this annelida. What is the meaning of this annelida? Annelida means ring-like segment. Annelida, the meaning of annelida is the ring-like segment. And that is why this phylum is also known as segmented worm. So three worms now you are having: flat worms, platyhelminthes; round worm, escalminthes; annelida, segmented worm, right? Escalminthes, platyhelminthes, no coelom, acoelomate; platyhelminthes, pseudocoelom, false coelom; and your annelida, true coelom, true coelom. And in all these three worm-like phylum, this annelida is most advanced one. This is the advanced one. Now they possesses longitudinal and circular muscles which help in the locomotion. They are having proper your muscular system here. We have seen that they are having the organ system level of organization. So they are having the proper muscular system also, right? So they are having two different types of muscles, longitudinal and circular muscle, that helps in the process of locomotion. Triploblastic means, so after fertilization, when the this male gamete and female gamete fuses together, it forms the zygote. Now what happened to the zygote? The zygote divide: 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, 16, 32, and later on it forms a mass of cells. Now what happened to this mass of cells? All the number of cells that are present in that round like structure, ball like structure, they get arranged, all the cells, in 3 different layers. You can see the 3 layers of cells, and that the outermost layer is called as ectoderm, the innermost layer, that is called as endoderm, and the in between the ecto and mesoderm there is a, sorry, in between the ectoderm and endoderm there is a mesoderm layer, right? So 3 layers of cells are there at the time of embryo development, and that is called as triploblastic. Blastic means the layers of cells, triplo means 3 layers of cells, right? 3 layers of cellular that lining. So that is the meaning of triploblastic. So wherever these two terms come, diploblastic, 2 layers; triploblastic, 3 layers. Okay. Closed circulatory system is present. Closed type of circulatory system we have discussed in our first lecture. There is a 2 type of circulatory system: closed circulatory system and open circulatory system. So what is the meaning of closed circulatory system? When the heart is pumped from the blood, it is pumped via vessels. So we are having 3 different types of vessels. We are having arteries, we are having veins, and we are having capillaries, right? The blood is not poured directly. Blood is not poured directly on the tissue or the organ. They are not poured directly on the tissue or the organ, whereas it is transported to the different organ via blood vessels. And we are having three different types of blood vessels. And you all know, I hope, what is the 3 different types of blood vessels? What is that? 3 different types of blood vessels: arteries, veins, and capillaries, right? So leeches show an open circulatory system. Yes, this is an exception. This is an exception, that leech is having has open circulatory system. Annelida is a closed circulatory system. Yes, this is the closed circulatory system. So suppose we are having 100 individuals in Annelida. 100 individuals in Annelida means 100 different animals, right? But if any of the organism is just having a open type of circulatory system, and rest the 99 are having closed type of circulatory system. So this is the major one. Okay. So the characteristic become the closed circulatory system is present in the case of Annelida, but this is an exception. This is an exception. Okay. So in leeches, the open circulatory system is there, right? So this is for your remembrance, but it is not mentioned in your NCRT. So if you do not remember, then also it is okay. But if you are knowing at this level, it is very good. It is very good. Okay. Okay. Mesoderm and mesoglia. There is a difference. Mesoglia is present in the case of diploblastic organism. It means they are having two layers of cells. The outer one is having the ectoderm and the inner one is the endoderm. Now, in between these two, there is mesoglia. This is not a cellular level. This is the jelly-like substance is present. So we cannot say that this is a derm layer like mesoderm, ectoderm, endoderm. This is not a derm layer because it is not represented by any cellular layers of cells, right? It is a jelly-like substances that is called as mesoglia. So that is why it is called as diploblastic. But in the case of triploblastic, we are having a very definite mesoderm layer in between the ectoderm and the endoderm. So that is why it is called as triploblastic. Clear? Okay. Moving to the next point. Nephridia. Nephridia. Does pseudocoelomate have mesoglia? So pseudocoelomate is another thing and mesoglia is another thing. This like derm layer, diploblastic, triploblastic, we are discussing at the time of the embryo formation. Embryo formation. And when there is a full grown up organism, then you see this cavity like thing, the coelom cavity, right? So this is two different things. Don't relate it with if it is mesoglia, then it will be pseudocoelomate. It is very different thing. Pseudocoelom is the cavity like thing, but it is a false cavity because it is having mesoderm layer, but at one side only. But one side only, right? It is having mesoderm layer, but one side only, not the second side. So mesoglia is not there. They are triploblastic, but still they are having pseudocoelomate. That is another thing, right? Okay. Nephridia helps in osmoregulation and excretion. Nephridia, this is the excretory organ that is helping in the process of osmoregulation. Nephridia is not an example. This is the name of the excretory organ. Like what is the excretory organ in our body, in the human body? Kidney. Kidney that takes out all the nitrogenous material from our body, right? Kidney. But what is the this excretory organ in the case of Annelida? Nephridia. So you can, this is the analogy like thing. If human is having kidney, then earthworm will have nephridia. Because if kidney is working as a excretory organ in the human body, then in the case of earthworm, nephridia is working like kidney, right? So that is the excretory organ. And what it is helping, see, osmoregulation, maintenance of water balances as well as the salts. And they are also helping in the process of excretion, removal of the nitrogenous waste material from the body cavity. Neural system consists of a paired ganglion. Paired ganglion. Now, they are not having a brain. They are not having any brain, but still many nerve cells unite together and it form a clump of nervous tissue that is called as ganglia. Okay. And from the ganglia, lateral nerves arises to the double ventral nerve cord. Now, this is very, very important. It means that this ventral nerve cord is present on which side? Ventral side. So this is very, very important. Ventral side, this nerve cord is present. Okay. Okay. Moving to our next slide. Nereis is an aquatic form. So here you can see the Nereis is an aquatic example, and it is dioecious. Male and female individuals are separated. But in the case of earthworm and leeches, they are monoecious. Monoecious means they are hermaphrodite. They are hermaphrodite. Both the male and female reproductive organ are present in the case of earthworm and leeches in the same individual, right? But in the case of Nereis, they are dioecious. They are separate male and female individual. Reproduction is sexual. Reproduction is sexual. Examples: Nereis, Peritima, earthworm. So next time, no earthworm, you will call Peritima. Just to remember the scientific name. In this way, you could remember the scientific name, right? Hirudinaria, blood-sucking leech. Blood-sucking leech, Hirudinaria. Yes, very good. Hermaphrodite doesn't mean that they are reproducing by themselves at a time, though they are having both the sexes, but at a time, it will either behave as a male or a female, right? So the earthworm, one of the earthworm at a time behaving like a male, and another earthworm, they are behaving like a female at that time, right? So at that time, they can join together, and through their germ pore, a pore-like structure through which the sperm from male, the one that is working as a male individual, will release the sperm in the female, right? So there is no self-copulation. Yes, there is no self-copulation, right? There is again cross reproduction type of things. So here you can see the examples of the Nereis and Hirudinaria, right? Now we will study about the next important phylum, Arthropoda. This is the largest phylum of the Animalia, which include the insects. Largest phylum. So how large it is? Now here you can see. Over 2/3 of all named species on the earth are Arthropoda. 2/3. 2/3. So now you can see out of 3, 2. They are whatever the named species today we are having, identified species, 2/3 of them are arthropodans. And that is why this is considered as a largest phylum of the animal kingdom. Largest phylum. Now here we can see the 4 different type of arthropodans. Locust. This is the locust, grasshopper. Butterfly. Okay, one of the arthropoda that could fly. This are also fly, but this are having more adapted for the flying. Now here, the scorpion. The scorpion lives where? Where there is crevices in the rock crevices, or you can see just below the rock. And what about the prawn? This is the aquatic one, the aquatic arthropods. There are many arthropods that are found in the aquatic environment, right? They have organ system level of organization. So they are well developed. So they are having organ system level of organization. They are having well developed digestive system, nervous system, circulatory system, right? So in that way, they are having well developed organ system level of organization. They are bilaterally symmetrical. The body can be divided into left and right half. Triploblastic. I'm not going to explain triploblastic. Many number of time we have discussed about this. Triploblastic. 3 germ layer, ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm. Segmented. Now they are also segmented. Okay. Don't think that only Annelida are segmented. Arthropodans are also segmented, and they are coelomate animals. True body cavity. They are having the true body cavity. The true body cavity has been started from this only, from the Annelida. So Annelida, Arthropoda, on now onward, we will see that they are having the true body. The body of arthropod is covered by the chitinous exoskeleton. Very, very important feature. Chitinous exoskeleton. Chitin. Chitin is what? Chitin is a type of polysaccharide. It is a type of polysaccharide. Means it is a type of carbohydrate. Right? And we have seen that the cellulose that makes the cell wall like things. Plants do not have any like uh you can say the skeleton type of things, right? But this cellulose like things, cell wall made up of that provides some sort of shape to that cell. Here, in the case of animals, generally we see that they are having the endoskeleton, but here we see that they are having the exoskeleton. The inside, they are very soft, but from outside, they are quite hard, right? Chitin is there. Chitin is came in one plant also. In one plant, can anyone can say about that plant? Which plant we see that chitin is present there? Hmm? Any plant we see that there is a chitin fungi? Very good. The cell wall of the fungi is made up of chitin. Yes, very good. The body of the arthropod is covered by the chitinous exoskeleton. This is one of the very, very important. The body consists of head, thorax, and abdomen. Now, whole body can be divided into three different parts: the head region, the thorax, and the abdomen. Right? They have jointed appendages. Jointed appendages. Jointed appendages. Now, see this word arthropoda. What is the meaning of arthropoda? Now, if you take the word orthos, meaning of orthos means jointed, right? Orthos means joint. Orthopedic surgeon, what they do? They take care of about our joints, right? Orthopedic surgeon. So from there, the ortho word is coming. So that is related to the joint. Poda. Poda means appendages. Appendages. From the main body, there are many appendages are attached. Like in our body, what is the appendages? Our limbs. Our limbs are like appendages. Our both forehand, our hands and legs, they are like appendages. Now, in the case of arthropodons also, they are having appendages. That is the poda. Now, join this word artho and poda means arthropoda. And what is the meaning of that? Joint appendages. So every phylum got their name from their a very important characteristic that they possess. Like in the case of Annelida, annulus, circular ring-like segment, right? And here, jointed appendages. Arthropoda means jointed appendages. Respiratory organs are gills. Now, every organism is not aquatic. Some are having aquatic. They live in the aquatic environment, but some live on the land. So, like they are having the gills, book lungs, or tracheal system. The tracheal system you must have studied in your lower classes also, uh, like your cockroach. Cockroach also belong to this phylum only, and they are having a tube-like trachea all over inside their body, and from sideways they are having small, small hole-like aperture that is called as spiracles. And from these spiracles, the air get enter inside this tracheal system, and there is an exchange of gas. Yes, grasshopper also having this tracheal system, right? But the organism we have seen in the case of shrimps or prawn, they are having gills like things in for the process of respiration, as a respiratory organ. circulatory system is of open type. Now here you see. In the very last phylum, Annelida, they are having the circulatory system is of closed type. That is the advanced feature. But here, Arthropoda is advanced than Annelida, but still, for this circulatory system here, you see they are open type. They are open type. It means from the heart, the blood is pumped directly to all over the cells and tissue. Sensory organ like antenna, eye. Now they are having the compound and simple eye. Some organisms are having the compound eye. What is the meaning of compound eye? Compound eye means the vision. What you are seeing, you are having the very simple eye. Your vision is very clear. It is not present in front of you eye, or whatever you see, it doesn't come in your mind like in the brain in small segments. It is very clear cut, right? But in the case of compound eye, small segment are there. The vision comes in the small segment, and when they combine together, then they are appear to see whole that figure, whatever they are seeing at that time, right? So the compound eye is the feature of the arthropodans. They are having the statocyst. What is the meaning of statocyst? This is the balancing organ. This is the balancing organ. Statocyst is the balancing organ. We are also having the balancing organ. Human eye is a simple eye, not a compound eye. This is a simple eye. You see everything in a very clear cut. One vision is there. But what happened when you see some part, different parts, then it will be difficult for you, right? So they are having the compound eye. I'm talking about the balancing organ. Which is the balancing organ in our body? Internal ear. Internal ear. It is not only meant for the hearing, but it is also meant for the balance. Take a balance of the body while you're walking, while sleeping, while you are sitting, right? Or running. So it makes the balance of your body. Very, very important organ, right? Yes, it is connected to the cerebellum as well. So that is the mind, your brain part that is concerned for that. But the organ here, the internal eye is there, right? That is connected to the cerebellum, and both are like mediated for this balancing of the body. Here, they are having a very special organ. You have to remember this statocyst that is helping for the balancing of the body, right? Because they some are flying. Some of the insects are flying, so they need a balance. Excretion takes place through the Malpighian tubule. Very important, Malpighian tubule. Every time you see that the organ name is keep on changing. There, in the case of Annelida, they are having nephridia. Now here comes the Malpighian tubule. In the platyhelminthes, what was there? Flame cells. So that is why these things are very, very important. You have to remember a lot of things in this particular chapter, right? So they are mostly dioecious. Mostly they are dioecious, and fertilization is usually internal. Like fertilization is inside their body only. They are mostly oviparous, means they lay eggs, and development may be direct or indirect type. Some of the organism, they are having the direct development, whereas some of the show indirect type of development. The one that show indirect type of development, there is a formation of larval stage. Examples. Now we will discuss about the examples. Economically important insect: apis, honeybee, bombyx, silkworm, lessifer, lac insect. Lac insects provide a very important thing, and with that many decorative items are made. And in sometimes they are also used in making bangles. Okay. Vectors: Anopheles, Culex, and Aedes mosquitoes. Okay. So these are carrying some or the other pathogen, like Anopheles female one. They carries Plasmodium that causes malaria. So they carry the malarial parasite. So they are acting as a vector. Gregarious pest, locust. And living fossil, limulus, king crab. Very important. Living fossil. What is the meaning of living fossil? Living fossil means there is no change in the organism from many years, right? No change means no evolution is taking place in that particular organism, and that organism becomes very important at it. When you study about that organism, you can relate in which era it has been evolved, in which era it has been formed, and from that you do not see any change in that. So what type of organism is there, in which era it has been formed, you can know about that what type of organisms are present at that time, because no change in those organisms we see. So this is an example that belongs to this orthopoda, living fossil limulus, commonly called as king crab. Summary. Escalmenthes, we studied today about the escalmenthes, commonly known as roundworms, Annelida segmented worm, arthropoda. Okay, and they are the very important phylum. Escalmenthes are pseudocoelomate animals with a cylindrical body and no segmentation. Annelids, they are truly segmented worms with a true coelom and a closed circulatory system. And Arthropoda, the largest phylum in the animal kingdom, includes the jointed, legged animals with the segmented bodies, exoskeleton, and specialized appendages, comprising the familiar creatures like insects, spiders, and crustaceans. So this is all about today's session. In just a minute, I'm coming with you with your today's DPP. So here is the first question of today's DPP. Which of the following is considered as a living fossil? Just now we have studied about, right? So the options are as follows. A. Locust. B. Dentalium. C. Limulus. And D. Acedia. So what is the correct answer? Hmm. The correct answer is option C. Limulus. That is called as living fossil, right? King crab. I'll opt this C as an correct option and save it. Move to the next question. The next question is here. Which of the following is a common character between the earthworm, leech, and a cockroach? Common character. They have Malpighian tubules. Is this right? Cockroach is having the Malpighian tubule. Earthworm, they are having nephridia. They are hermaphrodites. Cockroach is not a hermaphrodite, right? They have ventral nerve cord. Yes, this is the correct one, right? Just we have studied about this, that they are having the ganglia, then they are having the nerve cord, and that nerve cord is present ventrally, right? So they are they have ventral nerve cord. Okay, so we'll save it. Move to our next question. The unique characteristic of the phylum Annelida. A. Coelom. B. Metamerism. C. Hermaphrodite. D. Alimentary canal is complete. What is the unique feature? Unique feature of the phylum Annelida. Presence of coelom, metamerism, hermaphrodite, alimentary canal is complete. All are true, but one is the unique characteristic, and that is yes, B. Metamerism. Metamerism. This is about the segmentation, and this type of segmentation that we see in the Annelida, right? This is the unique feature of it. So we will save and move to the next question. In contrast to Annelida, the platyhelminthes show contrasting feature from the Annelida. A. Radial symmetry. B. Presence of pseudocoelom. B. C. Bilateral symmetry. And D. Absence of the body cavity. So, which option is correct? the feature that we see in the platyhelminthes, but not in Annelida. It is a contrasting feature. So if you see this, presence of pseudocoelom. Pseudocoelom is present in platyhelminthes, but not in Annelida, right? So, presence of pseudocoelom, option B. We'll save and move to the next question. Respiratory organ like gills, book lungs, and tracheal system are found in which phylum? A. Arthropoda, B. Escalmenthes, C. Mollusca, and D. Chordata. Yes? So, option A, Arthropoda, right? They are having these organs as a respiratory organ. So, we will save and submit and see the result. So why this fourth one is showing the incorrect? Let us see that. Okay, it is the presence of pseudocoelom. It is showing the absence of body cavity. So annelids and platyhelminthes. Yes, platyhelminthes. Platyhelminthes is acoelomate. Yes, it is not a pseudocoelomate, right? So they are having the absence of body cavity. So this is the correct one, right? So platyhelminthes show absence of body cavity. Yes, acoelomate. So that is why this is the correct one. Okay. So this is all about today's session. Thank you very much for attending today's session.